The present lecture entitled Publication Ethics and Scientific Misconduct. What's wrong you are doing while you are preparing your manuscript. We will divide the lecture into two partitions. The first is scientific misconduct, what's wrong, and second part is redundant publication. What's meant by redundant publication? This is the contact, and this is the learning objectives. What is the fault while you are preparing your research work and manuscript? Let us start with the definition of scientific misconduct. It is mispresentation of facts in a scientific context. It is either you do it consciously or due to carelessness and negligence. It may be there is infringement to the intellectual property. You are violating the intellectual property of others, or you are encroachment upon other research activities. The academic misconduct or scientific misconduct can include: first is plagiarism, which means adoption and reproduction of ideas without proper acknowledgement to the author. يعني ايه؟ يعني حضرتك بتاخد كوبي وبيست من عند ناس، سواء بقى في results، سواء في paragraphs، سواء في ideas، خلاص، من غير ما تقول ان دي الايديا دي بتاعت الناس الاخرين او results دي بتاعت الناس الاخرين. And there is also what we call self-plagiarism, when there is a copying or reusing of your own research. تاخد حتت من حاجات انت عملتها ريسيرش قبل كده وتحطها بشكل يبان ان هو ده جديد او ان انت عامل حاجة جديدة. There is fabrication or falsification of the data and information, or falsification of citation in many formal academic exercise. أظن كلنا يعني بندور أوقات على ريفرنس معين ونبص نلاقيه مش موجود، ونبص نلاقي إن هو false. There is also the cheating, which is attempt to give or obtain assistance in a formal academic exercise like examination. You are cheating. You are cheating in your results. You are cheating in your exams. You are putting data which is not present at all. There is what we call also sabotage or تخريب. It's acting to prevent others from completing their work. This means if your colleague have an experiment, you are disrupting this experiment, you are destroying the instrumentation, killing the animal, whatever you are doing. Deception. This means you are providing false information to an instructor concerning a formal academic exercise. Okay? I was not free to do. I was ill. Okay? Someone stolen my paper. Someone doing something. Okay? This is what we call deception. Whenever we are talking about data falsification, it is a problem. Why it is a problem? You are submitting data which is not true to the scientist and to the scientific community. This means you are mistrusting those people. You are diluting the integrity of yours of the other scientific research. If it is not discovered, this means that other researchers will lose time and energy attempting to replicate it or build up on it. يعني انت بتعمل حاجة غلط والناس فاهمة ان دي حاجة مظبوطة، يجوا هم يشتغلوا. المفروض يعني اوقات احنا طريقة شغلنا ان احنا نعمل comparison مع الناس التانية. شغلي في بلدي على الناس بتوعي مع الآخرين، يلاقوا ان الداتا دي مش مظبوطة، او يجوا يعملوا upgrading لها، يحاولوا يحسنوا او يشوفوا modification، يلاقوا الداتا دي مش شغالة. So you are destroying the upgrading of this work or the comparison with that. And finally, there is usually adverse consequence for the patient in clinical research and clinical practice, because you are publishing something. It is very good for the patient, or this drug is very good for the patient, and it is not. The other risk factors for scientific misconduct, it is your defense, the way of your defense. Whenever you are accused by misconduct, you are saying it was a career pressure, I don't have time, they are pushing me, the experiment are not expected to be reproducible. This is all are excuses, but it's not accepted. The information technology has made scientific literature more accessible. So it will help you to gain access to this scientific information. At the same time, it will facilitate the discovery of the misconduct. Whenever there is misconduct, there is retraction, okay, to this manuscript. And as you see, there is increase in the process of retraction. And as you see here, okay, there is increase in different categories like chemistry, like medicine, engineering. And what is the justification for retraction? Sometimes it is without published reason, but sometimes it is due to publisher error or author problems, or there is duplicate of publication or plagiarism. Okay, sometimes it is due to research misconduct, there is falsification of the data. And what we can do to improve detection of this fraud? First step is to acknowledge that there is a threat, there is something wrong. Two signs are there to be aware as reviewer or editor or reader. The biology makes little sense and a small number of investigators producing the bulk of the data. How to prevent this? Never change data. Whatever you have from data, justify it. لما تلاقي نتائج حتى لو مخالفة للآخرين، دور على السبب، ما تغيرهاش زي الآخرين. If you have something different than other publications, okay, justify it. Search for a reason for this change, not change it. Okay, keep a record of your data. Your records for data can be asked by the editor at any time, so preserve it. And understand the publisher policies on data before you are submitting your manuscript. But sometimes you have photos which is not clear enough and you want to enhance this clarity. Before you are changing the clarity process, be sure that it is within acceptable art form. It will be accepted by the journal you will submit to it. And even it is acceptable, just inform them that I am clarifying the image by doing that and that. Okay? Any data image used should be reviewed and it should support your paper against the original image data to make sure nothing has been altered. Whenever you are submitting manuscript, all the journals will connect it to special programs like Authenticate, like T-Blast. This is to detect if there is plagiarism. It doesn't mean that you have copying the results, but it may be you are copying paragraphs. You may be copying a photo without permission of the author. And whenever we are putting the article there, what is copied will appear like what you're seeing in the red color here, or the yellow color here. This means you are exposed. أي حاجة بتحطها بنقارنها بيطلع إيه الأجزاء اللي أنت أخدها من حاجات تانية، من journals تانية، سواء images صور يعني أو كتاب. At the same time, the program which will discover your plagiarism process will point you to the article that you are taking part from it. All this will be seen for the editor. Is it a big deal if I change a few words? Is it okay? Wrong. You must do what we call the paraphrasing or summarizing. Is it eligible to use the quotation? What we mean by quotation, you are taking copy or paste. Yes, it is eligible, but in certain situations. Okay? What is accepted usually is paraphrasing and summarizing. As I said, quotation, this means you are taking copy and paste. Is it eligible? Yes, sometimes, because it increases the power of your argument. You can disagree with the author. You can highlight certain phrases. You can compare and contrast. Okay? This is for quotation. But whenever you are quoting, you should doing a quotation marks. You see that red circles, it is the quotation marks. You should do it and then you are following this with references. Paraphrasing means you are changing the sentence and the words to be from your own. بتغير شكل الجملة. You are changing the form of the sentence. Usually we are using this paraphrasing to avoid being accused with plagiarism, to avoid excessive quotation, okay, to show your thoughts through your work. And whenever you are writing a sentence, about the reference, the original, what is from, where do you bring that idea? And summarizing here, whenever you are reading several references and you want to collect or sum up the ideas in your own word at the same time, okay, as in introduction, background, describing knowledge. So you shouldn't copy word by word except after proper quotation. This means you are putting quotation mark and references. Whenever citing, cite properly. Use your own word, it is the best. Learn how to cite correctly. Always acknowledge the contribution of others. Whenever they are helping you in ideas, in images, in any part of the work. And usually you are acknowledging the sources. What means by a duplicate publication? This means you are preparing a manuscript and you are submitting this manuscript to two journals at the same time. Okay? Or you are publishing this manuscript in two different journals. Duplicate publication have many names like Salami publication, dual, repetitive, disaggregated, redundant, recycling fraud, fragmented publication, piecemeal publication, okay, self-stealer. By searching systematically, they found that 17% of the published full reports of randomized trial and 28% of the patient data were duplicate. As you see, there is a sort of networking of duplicate publication. What is the criteria of duplicate publication? It has the same hypothesis, same idea, similar number, sample size, similar sample size, the methodology is the same or nearly by, the results are similar, at least one author has been in common with these papers, and little or no new information is provided. Why it is unethical? First, it is caused ineffective use of resources. There is inflation of available peer-reviewed literature and waste of readers' time. اللي بيقرا ده بيقرا كلام مش مظبوط، بيعيد نفس الكلام، يبقى ما اكتسبش حاجة جديدة. البير ريفيوينج، الناس اللي بتعمل assessment للبيبر من غير ما تاخد فلوس، وطبعا ده بيبقى من وقتها، خلاص ده بيعمل لهم ضغط شديد. There is increase in the workload of editors and reviewers, okay, and delaying of the newly effective publication. There is distortion of the purpose of the biomedical journal as it is a source of new information. Why are redundant publications still unethical? There is queuing of evidence-based medicine. This means you are assumed report to be from independent study. There is overestimation of therapeutic effect of certain meta-analysis. There is potential infringement of international copyright law. أما بنيجي نعمل meta analysis, whenever we are doing this meta analysis, this means I read a lot of paper on the same subject, okay, and I'm analyzing the data. If this data is repeated, it is not new. This means that my meta analysis is not properly assessing the problem and the results is not accurate. So I'm wasting my time, the time of others, okay, and disrupting or distorting their meta-analysis and their data. At the same time, it is sort of cheating for the international copyright laws. There is patterns of duplicate publication. Pattern 1E, there is a reproduction of already published article using the same sample, the same article. Okay, most first type of duplicates had no cross-reference to the main article, and 1/3 of them were translation. Only one had a cross-references according to JAMA 2004. As regard pattern 1P, we are taking two articles and we merge it with each other. We are mixing these articles with each other to yield another one. It has the highest number of duplicates of publication and subject, and this is showing you that the percent of this non-ethical attitude, okay, is present. As regards pattern 2, duplicates originated from one study sample but reported on different outcomes. So we had one sample, okay, then we are taking this sample and divide the outcome of this sample into different parts, and each part will be in separate publication. Pattern 3A, there is expanded articles that were written when new data were added to the preliminary article. This means you have already data, okay, and you published this data, and then you added further step or further outcome or further test, okay, to the original data and produce the old and the new in new article. Type 3B, the article that documented parts of large trial and reported identical outcome. In pattern 4, both samples and outcomes were different from the main article, and it is difficult to know except whenever you are contacting the original author. To know what is the pattern type, we are going to study the sample study and see if it is identical. We will go to the outcome. If it is identical, it is pattern 1, either A or B. If it is not identical to outcome, it is pattern 2. If the sample study is not identical, so we are going to the outcome and see if it is identical outcome, it is pattern 3. If it is non-identical outcome, it is pattern. There is a criteria for acceptable duplicate publication. As, for example, the author may receive approval from both journals, and the editor concerned with the secondary publication must have a copy of the primary version. This means both of the journals know that there is another copy in another journal, and both are agrees. For the second journal, it it must have a different group of readers. For example, a different language. Okay, we have publishing the paper in Spanish and English. Okay, it is different reader. If we are sharing scientific research from toxicology point of view and from laboratory point of view, my colleague can publish his paper in a journal concerned with test and methodology and something like this, and I can publish this as regard the outcome results in toxicological point of view. So we have a different reader. Okay, sometimes a secondary version reflects the data and interpretation from the primary version. Database of highly similar citations. This database of highly similar or duplicate publication, this database with ET plus can be detected before submitting a manuscript for publication. A similarity detection can be detected by many programs like ET plus, like Authenticate. Okay, so take care of this. As an editor, if you find a duplicate publication, what you should do? First, consult the member of editorial board before making any decision, because the decision usually is to retract the paper. Okay, and we will contact the journal, the other journal that they have the copy, and resolving the copyright issue. We also contact the author and the institution of the author for this unethical or unaccepted attitude. How to deal with this as an advice to the author? There must be a clear instruction to the author on the journal website and adding statement if the author have been released this paper or submitted this paper to another journal or it is priced elsewhere. And it is acceptable to publish a full version of your manuscript if it is previously published as an abstract. Okay, as long as this abstract is cited. And if there are significant new data, then duplicate publication may not be an issue, but the original material must be cited.